Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Was Betrayed Got One for All Stolen and Gets All 7 Deadly Sins Powers movie. Before we start, please go support ancalagonintheblack for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Deku is a male in this story. Christian and Sin. All this would begin before the attack on the UA. One way or another, the League of Villains discovered that Izuku is All Might's successor, so they made a plan to make Izuku appear to be their spy. Obviously the UA thought that Izuku was a spy. He thought that his companions were going to help him prove that he is not a spy, but his surprise was great when he saw how some of his companions betrayed him. Even this, All Might, with the help of a machine that his friend made, took away One for All to Izuku, and they gave him to his arrogant brother Shirin, who just by spitting fire out of his mouth, he believed himself a lot, but that ego grew when he received the One for All. At this moment they had put Izuku in a Zelda. For some reason he saw like a girl whose name, if he remembers correctly, was Melissa. Wanted to see him, he fell asleep and appeared in his mental space. Izuku, where am I? You're in your mental space. Izuku. Hi, who are you? I am Meliodas and these are Ban, King, Escanar, Merlin, Diane and Gother. We are the deadly sins. Izuku. Sins. Capitals. Meliodas would explain everything about them. Meliodas. We appeared inside you because we want you to have our powers. Izuku. Why do they give it to me? Merlin. In a while some very strong guys called the 10 Commandments will come and we want you to defeat them. Gother. Obviously you will have to train to control our power. Izuku. But if I'm in a Zelda, how do I train? Meliodas. You train here in your mental space. The results of your training. Gother. There will be an attack on the UA in a few weeks, and from what I see there will be people who will not betray you without saying that you are going to take advantage of it to get revenge. Izuku. Sounds good, to get revenge on the villains. Meliodas. Izuku, one day in real life in this place will be like weeks, and just one day before we leave the villains are going to attack. Izuku. I will train with all my strength. The weeks passed and Izuku was currently white-haired with yellow tips and a Meliodas hairstyle with an outfit equal to Esterosa's, but instead of being blue, it is red like Zeldra's, and his physique was too noticeable. He had the scar of Ban plus those of Meliodas when they broke his heart. Only these were larger, and finally he had the marks of sins in each place, and his clothes had holes so that the symbols could be seen. Izuku. It's time for me to take revenge against that Tamura guy. Izuku snapped his fingers, and a sort of dark portal-like Kurijiris appeared below him and left. Izuku vs Naomu. The villains had already arrived and Izawa was being beaten by Naomu. The only difference was Kurijiri had not yet teleported them to the students, and among them was Melissa, who only came to see. Naomu was about to continue with the torture of Izawa, but he saw how a floor portal appeared in front of him from which Izuku emerged. Almost no one could recognize him. Izuku. Izawa-sensei, is he okay? Izawa. Izuku, is that really you? Izuku. Yes, it's me. Izawa. At the end of everything you awakened your quirk. Izuku. That's right, I came because you were one of those who didn't betray me, and I have unfinished business with that guy. Because of you I ended up in prison. Izuku picked up Izawa and took him to where the others were. Kirishi. Izuku, is that really you? Kirishi is the female version of Kirishima. Kiri. I can't believe you're here, although it gives me some more time with you. Kiri is the female version of Kaminari, and she said it with a perverted face. 11. Momo. Seriously, you're here. She was holding back tears. Izuku. I came to see you and Izawa-sensei. Apart from that, I have unfinished business with whoever I blame myself for, and this is the best time. Bakugo. Damn nerd, what are you doing here? Shirin. You should be in jail rotting tea. Izuku. Keep Izawa safe, I'll take care of them. By the way, this time I don't want them to leave, it would be abandonment and another betrayal. Izuku appeared in front of Tamura and with a smile like Esterosa's. Izuku. From what I understand, you were the one who blamed me, so we are going to settle debts, but first there are many villains around. Izuku walked away to make 6 clones that looked like him. Bakugo. Your new quirk is making clones. Shirin. The stupid one will be defeated. The 6 clones headed to different areas. Tamura. What are you doing? Izuku. I just passed my power to different parts. Tamura. Naomu kills him. The Naomu headed towards Izuku, who was waiting for him with Meliodas' sword to start a confrontation, which left no room for anyone to move. Tamura. It's a huge power, I never thought I'd be able to fight Naomu. Kurijiri. What power would that be? Izuku once hit him and sent Naomu away. Izuku. The The sin of the snake of envy will crush you with its great strength, the bear of laziness you will not be able to escape from its chastifer spear, the goat of lust when you don't wait it will get into your mind, the boar of gluttony, be very careful if you don't want to be his experiment, before the fox's gaze of greedy will steal all your energy. When the sun rises to the chasm the lion of pride will destroy all evils, and the dragon of anger if he loses control, you must be very careful due to the brutal power it has. When he finished saying that, a current of wind was released and a mark was seen on his forehead. Naomu went again against Izuku, who did not use his sword and was only fighting hand to hand. The two hit and received blows all the time. The field was destroyed and the two were bleeding too much and they walked away. They were about to fight again, but a wall of ice separated them, but this was not Todoroki's. Todomi, I will also fight at your side. Naomu launched herself at Todomi to pierce her with her claws, but before she could do so, Izuku pushed her and Naomu pierced Izuku's chest and took it out, and Todomi stood on top of him. Todomi. Why Izuku? I was in tears. Naomu was about to kill her, but she flew away. Todomi. Izuku. Izuku. I'm not dead yet stupid, and now you will taste the lion's pride. Izuku went against Naomu, but Izuku passed his shunshin starting a fight of strength, and All Might appeared through the doors who saw Izuku fighting. All Might. But what is Izuku doing here? Izawa. He came to show them that they were wrong. Izuku. It's time to end this, cruel son. By doing that Naomu went against the ceiling, passing through it. Tamura. Kurogiri, let's go. Izuku. You guys won't leave. But he couldn't reach them, and when Izuku took out the shunshin and he fainted because he used it for the first time. Back to UA. In a room was Izuku and in front of him were some heroes and police officers. Nezu. Well Mirodiya, how can we believe that you are really innocent? Izuku. I can show you with my invasion power which can help us see my memories. Nezu. Well show us. Izuku used his power to show his memories so that everyone could see that Izuku was innocent. All Might. I'm sorry young Miro. Izuku. 1. I'm not Mirodiya. 2. As you saw I have a great power that All Might knows will be able to rival his in the future. Nezu. Well, what do you need to stay as a hero? Izuku. To start I need to return to UA. Nezu. Ready. Izuku. And I need an apartment to live in. Nezu. Ready, tomorrow you can start again. The next day everyone was in class talking until they saw Izuku come in. Everyone looked at them with a shocked face. Izuku didn't care about it and went to sit down, but Lita stood in his way. Lita. Izuku having tattoos is. Lita didn't finish speaking because he fell to the floor without energy and Izuku picked him up by the collar of his shirt. Izuku. 1. Don't bother me. 2. What happened to you is because of my power outburst and 3. These tattoos are part of my power, so if you have any problem I will hit you. Izuku let go of Lita and was looking at where to sit until he saw Momo telling him to sit next to her. Momo. Izuku, how did they let you in? Izuku. I just showed them the truth and they let me in. The girl approached him. Todomi. Izuku, I'm so sorry. Izuku. What are you talking about? Todomi. They pierced your chest because of me. Izuku lifted his shirt showing his worked body. Izuku. What wound are you talking about? Everyone was surprised because they saw how they had pierced his chest before he lowered his shirt without Momo, Kiri, Kurishi, Todomi, and Melissa waiting for him to know where he came from. She was touching him and they wouldn't let him lower his shirt, then after a while, he managed to lower his shirt because it was time to eat. Momo. Izuku, what is your quirk? Everyone who was eating, upon hearing that question, was attentive to his answer because it was assumed that they had taken his quirk. Izuku. The League of Villains in one way or another knew that I was All Might's successor because he gave me his power in One for All, so they framed me and they took it away from me, but in prison, I discovered my true power, the deadly sin. Melissa. The deadly sin. Izuku. That gives me the powers of the deadly sins, snake envy, its creation power that uses the earth and is a giant bear of sloth with its chastifer spear that was thrown into the tree of the fairy king, goat of lust, the doll. That its invasion power gets into the minds of others and controls them, wild boar of gluttony, its power is infinite and always hungry to know more, the fox of greed for its part, lets me steal whatever I want from objects to energy and everything, to make me stronger for a few moments, the power of the immortal bandit, that explains why when they crossed me I regenerated. I can only use the lion of pride during the day. Momo. Why only during the day? Izuku. Because his power is like that of an angel, it is only released during the day and the heat of the place increases because of my strongest moment with that power is at noon and obviously he became arrogant and finally the anger of the dragon, a demon. Technically the power I use is that of a demon and it is more noticeable when my eyes change to a dark purple color and I have a black sign on my forehead. Kiri. That explains when you fought that thing called Naomu and a mark appeared on your forehead. Izuku. That's right. Already in class. Izawa. I want everyone to be prepared because the sports festival will begin soon. They all got excited but were shocked when Izuku said fights. Hidomi. Do you know what that is? Izuku. Yes, a sports festival is where we can fight each other. The start of the festival. It was already the day of the festival and everyone was there, and as in the original story Todoroki challenged Izuku. Midnight. Now student Izuku is going to say some words of support. Izuku. I just want the festival to start and let's see who is the strongest. Midnight. There are 3 tests, the first will be an obstacle course, everyone in their positions to start. When the first test started, before Todoroki did anything, he ran out of energy like the others and ran a few in Izuku, whose top broke. Izuku ran until he reached the part of the robots, crossing the ones that were already he reached the precipice, where only to the great surprise it began to fly. When he finished he ran again to the part of the explosives where he activated them without anything, but that did not matter to him. In Akarishi, as he was very far ahead, he accidentally activated an explosive and came out flying, but before she crashed to the ground Izuku grabbed her. Akarishi. Izuku, thank you very much. Izuku. It's nothing. Izuku and Akarishi reached the end of the race, being the first. Midnight. The second test is of cavalry. They explained everything the same as the original story. Izuku. Who do I team up with? Akarishi. Izuku, what do you think if we team up? Izuku. Okay. Kiri. Can I enter too? Izuku. Yes. Mei. Hello, I'm Mei and I want to try my babies with you. Izuku. Do you drink? Mei took out her equipment. Izuku. They will do. Mei. Who will ride us? Will it be your Izuku? 21. Mei didn't realize what he said as the 3 of them blushed. Kiri. Mei, did you realize what you said? Mei, thinking about it, blushed. Izuku. Kiri is surely the lightest, therefore she will be the separate rider, because her quirk can push away anyone who approaches. Kiri. What if I don't realize they're nearby? Izuku. Don't worry, I'll let you know. Chivalry. The team was already armed with Kiri on top, Mei on the left, Akarishi on the right and Izuku in front. When they started the teams rushed at them, but they quickly activated Mei's device, leaving the place. When they landed they started running. Mei was ready to activate her devices at any moment. Izuku was attentive in case someone made a quick move. Akarishi was already prepared in case she had to protect Kiri, while she herself had already prepared to activate her quirk to electrocute anyone. Izuku. At the moment we are doing well. Izuku dodged a purple ball, then looked at Mineta and Tsuyu who wanted to take their points. Izuku. If you think it will be easy, you are wrong. At that Tsuyu was about to grab the stitches, but Izuku went ahead and pulled out Rita, making Tsuyu grab him, but as it was obvious he couldn't lift him up and let him go. Mineta. What's wrong? Tsuyu. I don't know, but the only thing I don't want to do is fight Izuku. How much strength does it have? Izuku's team continued running. Kiri. What do you think if we change roles? Akarishi. Sounds good to me. Izuku. In that case, upgrade. This will increase all our abilities even more. Kiri will now be able to maintain the amount of flips you used before. Akarishi will be able to use his peculiarity and move faster, and Mei will improve your inventions. The group was very fast enough to score points until they ran into Todoroki's team. Izuku. One way or another I imagined we were going to meet. Hidomi didn't respond, he just gave the order to Lita to go, but before they arrived. Izuku. Perfect cube. The group collided with them. Bakugo's team had already passed their time, and when they went against Izuku, Bakugo was trying to break the cube. Todomi's team walked away because they saw how the cube made a hole. Izuku. Kiri. Kiri. Take it for granted. At that Kiri uses all the flips he had, electrocuting Bakugo's team. Just when they were about to grab their points, time ran out. The fights. Once the cavalry was finished they moved on to the fighting parts. Midnight. The first fight Izuku Lions from Class A versus Shinso from Class B. The two climbed onto the fighting platform and started the fight. Shinso. Tell me, are you ready for what's coming? Izuku. Honestly, yes. Shinso. I got you. Izuku. You think so? Shinso. Wait, how is it possible that you still continue as if nothing had happened? Izuku. The truth is, it didn't affect me for the simple fact that I have better mental control than you. Shinso. How many powers do you have? Izuku. My power is called the 7 deadly sins. It gives me the abilities of all the deadly sins, the greed that allows me to steal almost anything with the immortal vanguard, the laziness that allows me the ability to use a spear, that with just the movements my fingers move from the fairy king, the envy that lets me make any creation that is with the giant's earth. The lust that gives me the doll's mental control capacity, gluttony that lets me have different abilities from the hechicera that cannot getting older, the pride that allows me to be the strongest human being, since the previous bearer of this power was quite a weakling, but when I activated this power, I became the strongest human being, and the anger that the power of a demon leaves me with. Those are the powers of my teachers, the 7 deadly sins which gave me their powers that makes me the ultimate sinner. Everyone was surprised when they heard that because there was an old story about some people called the 7 deadly sins, without mentioning that the way he said it agreed with each of them. Izuku, let's finish this ejecting ray. In this way taking out. Fights. They had already finished the cavalry and the fights were taking place. Midnight. Class A's Izuku's first fight against Class B's Shinso. The 2 participants went to the platform, they said they start. Shinso. And who do you think will win? Izuku. Me surely. Shinso. You already fell into my trap, now get out. Izuku. Why would I? Shinso. Why doesn't anything happen? Izuku. That's easy, my power is a capital sin. Shinso. Deadly sin. Izuku. I will explain it to you and the rest of the people, heroes and villains who are watching. This power was given to me by my teachers, each sin possessed them. Ban the Fox of Greed, the immortal bandit who with his power of rapture lets me steal almost anything. King the Bear of Sloth, the Fairy King with his Chastifer spear. Both are the goat of lust and Dol with his invasion power that allows me to enter the minds of other people and do whatever. Diane the Snake of Envies, the giantess with her power of creation that she makes from the ground. Merlin the Boar of Gluttony, the sorceress of the group with her power that is practically infinite, which never runs out of power. Escanor Lion of Pride, the human who for the at night is weak, but when the sun rises, he becomes the strongest human in the whole world. And finally Meliodas, the dragon of anger and demon, whose power is the full counter, something that returns anyone's attack, but with double the power of damage. When he said that he showed images of all the sins and below them Izuku as his successor, everyone upon hearing that was impressed since they had heard of them before, but they did not believe that beings like that had existed a long time ago. Izuku. Well, it's time to end this Shinso. When he said that Izuku went against the boy who was still impressed by that information, but he did not remember in time when Izuku had hit him that took him off the platform. After that Izuku was given the winner, all the fights were like the original story. Second part of the fights. After Izuku had said all that and defeated Shinso, everyone who was in the stadiums was impressed by that information from the green-haired boy, since according to what was heard about that story, it was supposed to be a very old myth. Hidomi. Izuku, everything you said down there is true. Izuku. If it's all true, that's what happened to me in prison, that's what I discovered. Bakugo. Damn Deku, even if you have those powers, I swear I will beat you. Izuku. Whatever you say. Shirin. Damn bastard, those powers have to be mine, not yours. Izuku. Well, if the deadly sins chose me as their successor and not you, in that case there is nothing to do. Shirin. Damn. Izuku. I promise you something. Shirin. What? Izuku. If we end up in the finals, I swear I won't be merciful to you. But that alone Shirin began to tremble. After passing the first round of combat in which Izuku was consoling Kiri for not winning, he made his way to the second round, where the first combat was Izuku against Hidomi. The 2 participants took the stage. Midnight. Ready for this to begin. Hidomi, without wasting time and knowing about Izuku's power, threw ice to freeze him, but he made a big jump, but he didn't expect Hidomi to throw a pillar of ice at him that hit him squarely, but he quickly recovered, breaking the ice. Izuku made a cruel sun and threw it against Hidomi, who covered herself with her ice but almost left the place. She just threw more ice which Izuku summoned his Chastifer spear with which he used his form in which he threw a bunch of knives with which they headed against the ice breaking everything. Izuku appeared next to her to take her out, but she was able to dodge it and throw some ice, but Izuku broke it with great ease. Izuku. Use it. He said it as if Hidomi had something hidden. Hidomi. What are you talking about? Izuku. We are all doing our best, but you are holding back. Maybe you can fool the rest but not me, so if you want to be a hero, you have to accept the other part of yourself. Izuku said it while he was walking towards her, but when he was about to hit her to get her out, there was an explosion in which Izuku was sent flying, but when he got up he put on a big smile. In the part where Hidomi was the dust dispersed seeing to it Hidomi with her part of fire and giving a big smile. Izuku. Now it will be a big fight. Hidomi. I hope you don't regret it later. Izuku went against Hidomi, but with his ice he froze on the ground, but Izuku jumped although it had consequences since she threw her fire at him, hitting him squarely. Izuku fell to the ground, but quickly recomposed himself to avoid Hidomi's fire to dodge again, but this time his ice. Izuku decided against attacking using the guard which received the fire, and nothing happened to him, but when he threw his ice at him, he was able to break it. Izuku, upon seeing that, decided to use a technique that would not leave him very well. Izuku. Hunter's Feast. When he did that, everyone except Kiri, Kurishi, Momo and Todomi fell to the floor. Shirin. What's wrong? Izuku. It's my technique from before that I used in the race that allows me to steal the energy of every living being within a certain distance range. Todomi. And why not me? Izuku. Easy, I want you to fight like hell. Todomi. Okay. That's when Todomi launched a combined attack of her fire and ice. Izuku headed towards her. There was a huge explosion which, when it dispersed, Todomi was seen unconscious and Izuku standing. Midnight. The winner is Izuku from Class A. Everyone recovered their energy and shouted Izuku's name, which took Todomi to the infirmary. After a kidnapping, Kurishi's fight against Bakugo took place, which was torture, but before the last blow, Izuku intervened in the attack, receiving it fully. Izuku with his demonic mark. This was enough, later I'm going to deal with you. Izuku carried Kurishi in his arms. Kurishi. Izuku-kun. Izuku. Sleep, you've done enough. Izuku took Kurishi to the infirmary. Finals. They had already reached the finals, in which they ended up in a fight of 3, Izuku Lions, Bakugo and Shirin. The 3 went up to fight. When Midnight started the fight, Bakugo and Shirin went against Izuku, who only stayed waiting for them. When Bakugo arrived, he tried to hit him, which was blocked by Izuku, who grabbed his arm to crash him against Shirin, as if his body were a weapon. After that, Izuku slammed him against the floor, leaving him there against Shirin, who was also hit. Against him to be able to give him a blow which was dodged by Izuku. Izuku. I'm not stupid, I know when you're going to hit me hard enough to get me out of the way. Izuku kneed him in his belly, knocking all the air out of him and spitting out some blood. Shirin. Damn. Izuku. You can't beat me, that's already obvious after seeing a part of my strength and yours. Shirin. Shut up. Shirin tried to hit him, but Izuku dodged it effortlessly, but couldn't prevent an explosion from Bakugo, who looked very upset. Bakugo. Maldito nerd team matter. Izuku. Hopefully you'll be able to beat me. Izuku kicked Bakugo in the head, who could not protect himself from a flurry of blows to Bakugo which ended badly. With the strength he had left, he tried to make an explosion, but he could not with Izuku's next move. Izuku. Full counter. The attack was returned by taking it off the platform. Izuku quickly dodged an attack from Shirin, who looked very angry. Shirin. Fast, fast, fast. Izuku hit him on the side, then proceeded to kick him up into the air and jumped to deliver a sledgehammer blow, crashing him against the floor, leaving him unconscious. Midnight. The winner is Izuku Lions. Internships. Once the festival was over, everyone was asking Izuku for autographs, after all that they were all in classes with Aizawa, who was explaining to them about the internships they were going to do. They had all chosen where each of them were going to go. They spent the days, and you could see in Izuku, who was doing surveillance in the streets, since the supposed hero who had to be with him had lost him. Izuku. I get into an agency so they can lose me, great. Izuku stopped talking as Anomu attacked him, but Izuku dodged it to give it a blow that sent him into the air to take a big jump and hit him with a mallet, crashing it into the ground, making a crater. Izuku. What does this kind of thing do around here? He could hear some screams in the distance, so he headed out, finding some civilians being chased by some Nomas, so Izuku decided to appear in front, starting to beat up the Nomas until Endeavor arrived. Endeavor. Choco, what are you doing here alone? Izuku. My superior lost me. Endeavor saw how the Nomas got up, so he attacked. Izuku received a message that he noticed and saw that they were asking for help, so he went. When he arrived, he kicked Stain, who was about to cut off Endeavor's head. Lita. Stain. More useless. Izuku. Hey, that one over there was the hero who was supposed to teach me things. He said, pointing towards the hero lying on the floor. Stain got angry at being ignored, so he threw himself at Izuku, piercing his heart with his katana. Stain thought he saw him killed, but Izuku grabbed his katana to hit him. Stain. But how? Izuku. You can't kill an immortal. He said it while wiping the blood from his lip. Stain was about to drink his blood, but Izuku hit him that sent him crashing into the wall. Stain tried to go against Izuku, but he was already behind him when Stain stopped. He turned around. Izuku gave him a combo of blows that Stain couldn't block or dodge, since he couldn't even see. Every time he tried to see, Izuku gave him a blow that didn't let him see. Izuku. It's over. Izuku with his demonic mark made a fist of darkness and gave him the blow that sent him crashing into a building, almost collapsing it. Izuku. I almost missed it. Exam. Once the internship was over, the students were returning to school. Everything would happen normally, but one day something happened that they were not expecting. Aizawa. Today they will have an exam, so they will have to put on their suits. Those from class 1B will also go. Once they did what Izawa told them, they were all in front of the fake city that they entered before to enter the UA. Izawa. The exam is about them having to beat us. When he said that, the teachers were behind Izawa, so he proceeded to tell them how the exam is about how they can win, so the students only listened to Izawa, the teams would be chosen, but something in particular would be noticed. Pendo. Professor Izuku doesn't have any partners. Izawa. That's because Izuku will do it alone and we're seeing who he'll face. May. But that's not unfair perhaps. Izawa. Isn't it unfair that two face one? Life is not fair. Once the exam began, all the teams would pass as in the original story, with only Izuku remaining last. When his turn came, he went to the city, entering it to find out who he would face. May. Izawa. Izuku who he will face. Izawa. We were watching that, but a teacher had already gone, I don't know who against. Izuku was walking straight to the exit without problems just to find out who he would face, but out of nowhere a cloud of dust formed, meaning that his rival had already arrived. When it dispersed, All Might could be seen. Izuku. So you are my opponent. All Might. Yes, young Izuku, get ready. Izuku only took out his sword to go against All Might, who was waiting for Izuku, who upon arriving tried to land a blow, but All Might, being aware of Izuku's strength, was only dodging easily, annoying Izuku a little, who chose to use the demonic mark, making the fight more difficult. Pendo. Izuku won't be able to fight All Might, it's too much. Izawa in his mind. Apparently All Might wanted to make the plan. Flashback. And Izawa could be seen talking to All Might. Izawa. All Might, if you get to fight Izuku, I ask you to keep him at bay until noon. All Might. Why? Izawa. Rarely does Izuku ask to be able to leave the classroom at noon, so I'm curious as to why. I did the calculations on how many days he asks me for that, and I came to the conclusion that on the day of the exam, Izuku was going to ask me that day, yes. During the middle of the day I could be out of class. End of flashback. In Izuku's fight he wanted to hurry because noon was approaching, so he tried to win, but All Might hit him and sent him crashing into a building, crossing him. All Might. I think that was it. Izuku. Do you really think that's it? Because if so, let me tell you that this is just beginning and you won't be able to beat me. He said it with an arrogant voice that I missed everyone because they knew that Izuku isn't like that. All Might. It's starting to get hot. 11. Everyone hears this. Izuku. Prepare to face the Lion of Pride with me. When he said that, Izuku came out of the dust showing that he had an axe and that his suit was torn by his muscles. Mina. Don't you believe that heat that All Might said is starting to be felt here too? The girls nodded at what was said, which made the boys sweat a drop in the fight. Izuku. Prepare to lose. All Might. That's having arrogance. Izuku. Honestly, yes. Izuku began to laugh and hit him, sending All Might flying, which impressed everyone. Izuku. Because I know that's what it's all about. All Might, impressed by the great strength that Izuku obtained, became serious going against him, starting a fight in which it was very close since no one was backing down. Izuku sent a cruel sun, sending All Might to collide with some buildings. All Might, when he got up, he saw by the clock seeing that it was almost noon, so he went against Izuku, giving him a huge variety of blows that made Izuku retreat. Izawa, who looked at the clock. It's already noon. This was strange to everyone because they didn't understand why this was noticed until they saw Izuku, who grew bigger as well as his muscles, blushing at the women who were looking at him and making them a little excited, making them want to rape Izuku. All Might gave him one more blow to Izuku, but this blow, unlike the rest, did not move Izuku, who looked at him, and All Might walked away. Izuku. This is him, the one. You could see Izuku in that form that transmitted an aura of power. All Might went against Izuku to finish him off, but Izuku did not flinch. Izuku. Sword of Eskener. When he said that, an attack that made a deep cut on All Might was present, causing him to fall to the floor. Izuku passed through the door, losing the one form at that moment. Izuku could be heard passing the exam. When he got to where his other classmates were, they began to ask him questions that Izuku couldn't answer since he couldn't even answer, and the girls took him to a part where he almost suffered a rape from them. Part 1. After Izuku passed the exam, he was recovering until he woke up and got up to leave the room. He was walking to where he would meet his class, but while he was distracted in his thoughts, he bumped into someone leaving a girl's enzyme. Light blue-haired. At this, Izuku moved away to help her up. Izuku. I'm so sorry, I'm Izuku Lyons, I was distracted in my thoughts. Girl. It's okay, I was also distracted in my thoughts. I'm Najire, this is Mirio and he is. Mirio. Together we are the big three. Izuku. I heard a lot from you. Mirio. And you are not far behind. It is well known that you fought against the villains when they attacked the UA, as you showed that you are innocent, you faced a hero killer, and we heard that you beat All Might in the test. Izuku. I think that's a small detail. Najire. I know you're going to go to camp now. Izuku. Yes, I just don't know what I have to bring and we'll meet to buy things. Najire. What do you think if I accompany you? Izuku. Sounds good to me. When everyone gathered, only Izuku was missing. Kiri. What are you thinking, Todomi? Todomi. Nothing, just that I'm going to accompany Izuku in this. Kirishi. In fact, I'm going to accompany him. Kiri. No, I'll go with him. Momo. In fact, since I am the one who has the most money, I will be the one who will go with Izuku. Mina. And why don't they ask him why he's coming? Everyone sees Izuku walking with a girl at his side when they arrived. Lita. Why did you bring that girl? Najire. Hello, I'm third year Najire, I'm one of the big three, and I came to help Izuku, so he knows what he has to buy for camp. Mineta. Hey, you can help me too. He said it looking at Najire's breasts, but received a blow from Izuku. Izuku. Stop looking at her breasts, let's just do this. Izuku took Najire's hand, blushing. The girls who were watching this got upset, but they knew that Izuku wasn't doing it to bother them, but Najire just smiled at this and took advantage of this. Najire. Izuku, you don't need to hold my hand. Najire grabbed his hand to put it around her waist, and she hugged the rest of Izuku's body. Kiri. It barely seems like they met and she is already claiming him and is getting ahead of us. Kirishi. I won't let this kind of thing happen like this, at the camp I'm going to take the opportunity to claim it. Momo. I won't leave things like this. Momo ran to where Izuku was to take his other arm and then looked at Najire and had a whispered conversation that Izuku didn't hear. Momo. Don't think you're going to get ahead of me just like that. Najire. Well, Izuku will be mine. This continued until Izuku bought everything he needed and then Izuku started to watch how the two girls tried on the clothes and a few moments later Todomi, Kiri and Kirishi came so that after a while when everyone was leaving, they saw how Izuku was full of bags, they got into Momo's limo to make things easier to drop each girl off at home. Obviously Izuku helped them by carrying the bags and each one he left at the house, each girl said goodbye with a kiss that the others noticed, the almost last one was Momo, and finally I took Najire to her house walking, since she was the one who had the least things when they arrived at her house. Izuku. Goodbye Najire-chan. Before he left Najire gave him a kiss. Najire. Goodbye, Izuku-kun. Najire turned around but felt them touch her being Izuku. Izuku. Goodbye. Najire. I just started to like this. Izuku. When I come back I'll love you more than this and I'm sure you'll enjoy it a lot. After that day, the day had already arrived when they had to go to camp, but to the girls' bad luck, Najire was there to say goodbye to Izuku, so she gave him a kiss and Izuku was touching her, much to the annoyance of the girls, when they were on the bus. Izuku was sitting alone, but Momo stood next to him. Momo. So you touched Najire other than a kiss? Izuku. They're all already asleep, right? The road was too far that it would take them all night. Momo. Yes. At that Izuku begins to touch Momo for her satisfaction, but to his bad luck certain girls were awake, Izuku had Momo against the window. Momo. Izuku, if you continue like this. Izuku. What's going to happen? Izuku stopped. Momo upset. Why are you stopping? She saw how Kirishi stood on top of Izuku on her legs, making him touch her, but to make matters worse for the two of them, Todomi and Kiri also went to where Izuku was, making them touch her too. By the time the others woke up and everyone saw how the girls they were on Izuku. Lita. What are they supposed to be doing? They shouldn't do that kind of. The girls who were on Izuku. Shut up now that he's still asleep. When the heroines arrived they would say about the original story, so that later the thing about the robots and the forest happens. When the heroines arrived they were about to start cooking, but Izuku beat them to it because when they arrived they saw Izuku cooking, when he finished cooking, and he served them all. They were impressed by how their food tasted, and Izuku was grateful because Ban taught him how to cook. Pam Part 2. After a few days in which Izuku helped some to train like Kirishi who asked him for help to which Izuku using the shun sign helped him. Also during the night he was the one who cooked at the request of all the girls, although Kendo asked him for help to learning to cook, to which he taught him all the knowledge that Ban taught him. Everything happened normally until one day Izuku woke up at night, so he got up and saw the boy who almost hit him in the crotch for which approached him and reviewed his memories. Izuku. Hey boy, you don't have to be like this all the time, your parents' deaths have already happened, but you're not the only one who suffers, I'll tell you something. The boy approached him. Izuku. You see I don't have a quirk, these powers that you see I have were given to me by my teachers who are dead. You see my parents and brothers treated me badly just for not having a quirk, I suffered a lot and today they see the boy that they abandoned. The boy was only with Izuku, but he noticed something. Izuku. Hey, go inside, there seems to be problems. He said it while the boy went inside and the other teachers and students could see how the League of Villains came out of the forest. Izawa. We'll have to fight. But they did nothing when they saw how Izuku left them inside a bucket, but Izawa saw how Izuku was not inside. Izuku. Perfect cube, well the League of Villains I would like to try a technique now that it is night. Abi. We came right now so you don't use that thing called shun sign. Izuku. Well this is not complete, but I will try it, Luna de Luz. He said it while throwing a sphere of light into the sky to see how it expanded and showed some kind of sun. Kirishi. The sun is incredible at night. Kiri. Then Izuku can use it. Everyone watched as Izuku passed his shun sign. Spinner tried to cut him with all his strength, but he only made a scratch. Before he could do anything Izuku hit him that sent him against some trees, breaking them in the process. Munfish used his teeth against Izuku, causing him to crash against the trees, but when he left the dust was not there. Behind Munfish was Izuku who gave him a blow that buried him in the ground. Izuku was covered with a lot of blue fire, but this one was not. Nothing happened to him. Izuku. This was the best they had. Muscular. Leave it to me. Muscular began to use all his strength and walk towards Izuku, staying in front of him, and Izuku did the same. Izuku. I hope you give me a fight. Muscular. I want you to defeat me even though it is impossible. Muscular hit Izuku, but he didn't expect it to be the same one that sent him against the League of Villains. Muscular had to dodge a cruel sun that left almost everyone unconscious, leaving only Dabi behind. Izuku appeared in front of Muscular so the two could start a fight in which he was destroying the forest completely, seeing how everyone was burned. Dabi. It's surprising that boy is so strong. Mineta. Both of them are monsters. Momo. Shut up, at least he can tell that he would do something unlike you. Kiri. But something bad happens to Izuku. Kirishi. Your son is getting smaller. It looked like Izuku little by little could not maintain the shun sign form, losing it at the moment when a muscular blow hit him that sent him flying. Muscular. Too bad I wanted you to continue with that shape. Muscular grabbed his head, but before he did anything he had Izuku's sword in his stomach and it was seen how he used purple flames. Izuku. Flames of purgatory that are impossible to extinguish in exchange for whoever did the technique to extinguish them. Before Naruto did anything, a kind of shadow took several parts of his body, seeing that it was Kurogiri. Izuku. Damn. Everyone was trying to get out, but when the perfect cube left it was too late and they took Izuku and the rest of the villains. The one. After Izuku was captured by the League of Villains, everyone was sad since they lost their partner and for some girls their love, although they were not going to give up. Momo. Girls, I need your help, I put a tracking chip on Izuku so we can search for him, but I need your help to rescue him. The girls would accept and a group would be formed being Kirishi, Kiri, Momo, Najire, Todoroki and Bakugo to find Izuku, but they disguised themselves as the original story. Once that was done, they went to the place where all the villains were, with Izuku, he was tied up and in what appeared to be a cell. Izuku. Where am I? Abi. This place is where you have to be even outside of that cell. Kurogiri. You're in the League of Villains. Izuku. That's great and all that, but I can go now, I left something cooking and I don't want it to burn. Tamura. Don't worry about that, now if I were you I would worry about where I am. Izuku. I can go now. Spiner. We won't let you go. Izuku. I can go now. Some of the villains were about to go against Izuku, but a voice they instantly recognized stopped them. Don't you see that being inside a cell provokes the emotion of wanting to escape, better treat our guest well and let him out. Tamura. But teacher. No buts, just let it go. But that they open the cell and untie Izuku. I'm really sorry, my villains don't know how to treat visitors. Izuku. No need to apologize all for one, at least a villain who has some class and knows how to treat a guest. Afo. If I just wanted to ask you one thing, that you join us. Izuku. I'm so sorry but I can't. Afo. I don't think I expressed myself well, I meant that you join us or we will kill you. And that they surround Izuku. Izuku. And I thought you had a bit of class, but I see that you don't, well it's going to be done. At that Dabi tries to send fire but is returned by the full counter. Izuku. Sate, I'll have to move a little. At that he activated his demonic mark, in the distance the heroes continued searching for Izuku, but they saw an explosion happen in the distance, and when they arrived, they saw several villains lying on the floor and an Izuku in the middle of all the chaos. Izuku. I think the cavalry came. Then All Might arrives having the same fight as the original story, but this time All Might was in trouble and being defeated. The students were already with the heroes. Afo was about to give the last blow to All Might, but he received a blow from Izuku, who sent him away. Izuku. You know something, I was gathering energy to use Shun Sign, but not its normal form. In that you can see how Izuku takes out a kind of sun from one of his hands to throw it into the sky and make the sun appear at night, impressing everyone, but they were more impressed when they saw that Izuku was growing and more than normal. Lady. What's wrong? Momo. During the middle of the day for 1 minute, Izuku using the Shun Sign becomes an unstoppable warrior, a warrior who has no rival, and in that form is known as the one or the only one. At that time, and Izuku the one was seen who went against Afo, giving him a blow that crashed him into the floor, followed by another that sent him into the air. Izuku jumped while being at the same height, so that with a blow of Meso he fell to the floor, and to everyone's surprise, Afo was injured. Afo? Damn. And that he uses a very powerful attack that hits him squarely, and everyone thought that he already died, but when the dust cleared they saw Izuku standing with the one without any scratches, then he extends one of his hands to begin to lower it. Izuku. Sword of Eskener. Afo? How? He couldn't finish since he was cut, but then he gets back up because he had a quirk that allowed him to heal only once. Afo? Damn. Izuku was about to do the same to end this, but a minute passed and he returned to his normal state and the sun left. Afo? Hahaha, that lasts a minute and instead of finishing me off you played. I tell you something, for a moment I really felt scared, but well, let's finish this. At that point, Afo appears in front of Izuku to hit him several times with all his quirks. Instead of being a fight, it started to be a massacre. The heroes couldn't do anything about it because some villains got in their way. Afo? Now I will kill you once and for all, you damn dwarf. At that he hits him that makes him bounce against the floor, but Afo notices that Izuku had a mocking smile, so he got angry and increased the number of blows together with his strength and speed, making it worse for Izuku, which for this point, a large part of his body was all destroyed. Although everyone wondered why he was not healing, Afo gave him a blow that sent him away. Remaining on the floor, but with difficulty he began to get up to take out Meliodas' sword and do some kind of hurricane of a transparent yellow color, and in the middle of it was Izuku. Izuku? Now you will know about the power of Sate. And that he goes against Afo being in front of him. Izuku. Against revenge. With that, a large amount of light was made, which when it left, an Afo could be seen lying on the floor, and an injured Izuku who, after seeing that Afo was defeated, fainted. Bedrooms. After the fight between Izuku and All For One, in which Izuku won, they took All For One to Tartarus, and they all went to the UA, where they told him that now they would go to live there, when everyone arrived except Izuku, until they saw that they were arriving. Kiri. Hey Izuku-kun, what were those things we saw in the fight you had against All For One? Izuku. The one is my second most powerful form, and the last attack I did is called Counter Revenge. I can only use it by turning off my power to receive all the blows that I absorb to use in a single attack. Mina. You said that the one is your second most powerful form. Izuku. Yes, it is my second most powerful form of the Lion of Pride. Momo. What is your strongest form? Because I remember that your strongest form is the one. Izuku. It's when I use my pride, the one lasts a minute, but if I use it for more than a minute, I have to go to the ultimate one, in that way I become stronger than the one, but it has something bad, I can die from using it. With that, he left everyone in shock, knowing that Izuku has a form that can kill him. Then Izawa arrives to arrange their rooms and doing the same contest from the original story, but Izuku came last. Izuku. I don't think I'll win. Sayu. I think so. When they open the door they see that his room on the wall were the sacred treasures, a piece of furniture that had a computer with some photos that were of him and Najire and him with Momo. Kurishi. Izuku-kun, why don't you have a photo with us? Izuku. Because we don't take them. Tomi. After all this we want some photos with you. Sayu. Me too. That surprised everyone a little. The rest of the room was simple. When they had to make the decision they chose Izuku. After that Tomi grabbed Izuku and took him outside the UA, making the other girls follow her to a place where the photos were taken. Sayu. Hey, give us back to Izuku. In the first photo Tomi was seen possessively hugging Izuku, in the second he planted a kiss on him, so that in the third the two of them could be seen with a happy face. Kurishi. My turn. When he entered he took out Tomi. In the first photo you could see how Kurishi was on top of Izuku, as if he were going to rape him, in the second how they were hugging each other, putting their heads together, and in the third how they kissed. Kiri. Time me. She said it, she with a perverted face. In the first you could see how she was putting her hands inside Izuku's clothes with her perverted face, in the second, how Izuku changed positions making him touch Kiri, so that in the third they were already kissing. Najire. I think they're having more fun. When she came in because of the three of them because she already had a photo with Izuku, the first one showed how Izuku touched her breasts, the second showed how she hugged one of Izuku's arms, so that in the last one they ended with a kiss. Momo. If she did it, I wanted to. When Izuku came in he was already touching her, so that in the next photo she puts her breasts in his face, so that in the last one it ends in a kiss. The girls were buying their photos, although a little angry that Kiri had touched Izuku's body, but something caught their attention. Momo. And Izuku. Mina. Sayu is also missing. At that point something came to their mind, and when they looked at the place they saw how 3 photos came out, the first being how Sayu entered and impressed Izuku, in the second, how she hugged him by his neck while sitting on his legs and to stop. In the third one you can see how Sayu kissed and Izuku impressed by the act, but what made them angry was that it was obvious that her tongue was inside Izuku's mouth, so they took the 2 out. Sayu. Don't say anything, after all they shared. Momo. You're right about that. Najire. But we have to establish some rules with Izuku. Izuku. Hey, I'm not an object that you can just set rules like that. At that Tomi silences him by making an ice chain that he put on Izuku's neck. Tomi. We're talking. With that, they took a chain to Izuku until they reached the bedrooms, and everyone noticed how they took Izuku to his room. Proof. After they make the dormitories, each one presenting their own, the classes would be held normally until a part where Izawa told them that in a few days, they would have to take a test with which they would be with other schools, so they prepared themselves for when the day arrived. Without any problem until one day they took a bus and went to a place where they saw members of other schools. Izuku. What is this about? Kiri. I don't know but I'm excited. At that point, some teachers would show up and explain that the test consisted of rescue, so they put together groups to make it much easier. Izuku's group would be with Todomi, Momo, Shoji and Karishi, who prepared themselves for when he left them. Begin. Izuku. Now that I think about it, we would have to have a password if one of them has a transformation quirk. They would agree on that so they invented a password. When they were given permission to begin they began to rescue all the people in the place, but while rescuing Izuku noticed that some people would act as the villains by throwing cement at someone, while Great Orca was the leader of the villains. Naruto. I already said that this wouldn't be so easy. Hey, we have company. In this, they noticed people who threw a type of cement which, upon contact with someone, would make the person remain completely still. Izuku. You save the people, I'll take care of them. At that point he would take out Ban's sacred treasure to go against the villains, starting to hit each one of them, leaving each one on the floor without any problem before everyone's eyes, but he would receive a blow from the Great Orca that sent him crashing. With some rocks. Orca. That boy didn't seriously believe he could do this alone. At that he would make a large amount of sound which would make everyone stay still while they grabbed their ears, but from the rubble and Izuku would emerge, bigger than before, walking towards Great Orca with his Rita axe in hand. Orca. Because my noise doesn't affect it. Izuku. Because an attack from someone who is much weaker than me would affect me, that only makes me sad. Orca. Wow, you're arrogant. Izuku. Because that's what I am, I'm the lion of the 7 deadly sins Izuku of pride. In that, everyone would see the mark of the lion that he had on his back. Izuku. Please I hope you don't get angry when I beat you. At that he received a blow that made him look down, followed by a kick that raised him into the air to end with a blow that left him on the floor. As he approached, Orca was about to say something, but he looked to his side looking at his son. But he was covered by a blow that made him retreat. He was about to say something, but he fell silent on his knees before Izuku. Izuku. What's wrong? You found a coin. Orca tried to attack him, but he received a blow to the face that sent him flying, followed by another blow that left him pinned to the floor. Orca managed to hit him, but it had no effect on Izuku who was as if nothing had happened, but before do something Orca gave him more blows, but these had no effect on Izuku, so he gave him a blow that sent him flying. Izuku raising one of his fingers to create a cruel sun, but before he launched it the others who were with Gran Orca threw cement at him that covered almost his entire body, causing the cruel sun to disappear. Orca. Now that you're trapped and can't do anything about it and I can launch sound attacks that means I win this fight. At that he launched his sound waves as he got closer to Izuku, but the cement he had was melting due to the enormous heat of Izuku that pulled on his body while his cruel sun was back on his finger. Izuku. I can't attack you. And who decided it? That you have won the fight. And who decided it? Orca. How is this possible? Izuku. I'm the one who decides cruel sun now. Then he launches the attack on Great Orca, causing him to hit him, causing him to leave the place while shouting Izuku's name until he crashed into a wall, causing him to fall unconscious there. After that Izuku returned to normal by what it was with his team, so that everyone could see that they passed the test so they were happy. Izuku. We have to celebrate this. He said it while touching Momo's breasts. Kurishi. That's not fair. Hands touched her from behind and she saw that it was another Izuku. The other girls were also touched by an Izuku each, but they stopped when they felt something. Izuku. This can't be them breaking free. In the distance in the darkness you could see 10 shadows which walked in the light. Pretty big. After the test that everyone from UA had where they met those from another school, so they prepared for whatever came later, although Izuku had a serious face since then, which worried his girls, who did not understand that it was what happened to him but one day in class they would be in class, but 3 students would enter, whom Izuku recognized as Najire. They would introduce themselves as the big 3 of the UA, ending in a fight between Mirio and the entire class. Kurishi. Hey, are you sure you're going to want to fight? Mirio. Yes, why not? At that time, like the original story, Mirio would beat the class, but Izuku was the only one standing. Mirio. Among all of them you are the strongest. In one moment Izuku disappeared to reappear in a remote place where he left his girls. Izuku. Rest. Izuku would return to Mirio's front. Izuku. I don't care if you're Najire's friend, no one touches my women. Izuku's girls even blushed at Najire at the way he acted for them. Mirio. We just fight. Mirio would go against Izuku who would try to hit him, but he would cross him receiving Mirio's one making him move away so he tried again, but the same thing happened being very difficult until at one point he managed to hit Mirio away his. Izuku. A very strong quirk but not enough. Mirio went against Izuku, but he had already hit him causing him to rise into the air, but before he received another hit, he activated his quirk. Mirio. It's useless, you can't touch me. Izuku. If you can get through whatever I want to see this perfect cube. At that Mirio was surrounded by a cube so he tried to get out but he couldn't do anything. Izuku. It's useless, the perfect cube is made so that no one can leave or enter. And that they would give the victory to Izuku, but in a moment he would have the same serious face. Momo. Izuku, what's wrong? Izuku. Everyone down. When everyone crouched down, something came through the ceiling, being 2 red demons and 1 gray, so Izuku would go against them, killing them by cutting off the head of one, while he would take out the hearts of the other 2. Mina. What is that? Kurishi. Did you kill them? Izuku. These are demons. Mineta. Damn. Izuku. Yes, but why are they here? At that point, something would enter through the ceiling at a high speed, landing and creating a cloud of dust, while Izuku had his eyes wide open. When the dust dispersed, a tall individual wearing armor could be seen. Izawa would try to get in front of his students, but Izuku would stop him. Izuku. Everyone run, he wants me. Momo. We won't leave you. Izuku. This is not a damn game, this thing is worse than you imagine. Alan. You have an energy similar to that of meliodas. Izuku. I am Izuku, the descendant of the deadly sins. Izuku would go against Galland, but he would cut him, but he was a clone since the real one punched him in the face, pushing him away. Before he could do anything, Galland would give him some cuts on his body to take him by the neck and lift him up. Worrying the whole class. Galland. Are you seriously the bearer of the deadly sins? In the place it would begin to get hotter, so that Izuku would begin to grow to take out an axe to cut Galland in half. Izuku. Don't touch me like that, Izuku-sama, now I want you to give a message to the other commandments, which is that I am ready to fight. At that point, he made a cruel blow to hit Galland in the belly, who was thrown from the place. Izuku returned to normal and fell to the floor, but his class helped him. Izawa. Izuku, what was that? Izuku, after the sports festival, by orders of his teachers, had to erase the memory of what happened in his fight against Shinzo, apart from destroying the recordings. Izuku. A long time ago an order of knights was made to fight against the demons called the 7 deadly sins, an order of 7 very powerful warriors, the greed of the fox the immortal Ban, the giant snake of envy Diane, the goat of lust Gother Adol, the boar of gluttony, the most powerful magician Merlin, the bear of sloth, the fairy king, the lion of pride, the strongest. The simple human Escanor and his captain, a renegade demon from his race, the dragon of wrath, Meliodas, represents that I am like the bearer of his powers, that is why my tattoos are his symbols. Izawa. And those things. Izuku. That's what I'm talking about. Those that I killed along with the one that I sent flying are demons, there are different kinds, the simplest ones, the blue demons are like birds like that Nomu that we saw for the first time, but the weaker ones that follow are the red demons and greys, which are the ones I kill, then come the planes which are made for war. After higher rank are the 10 commandments, a group of demons, which are only 10 chosen by the demon king himself, of which there are only 2 big ones. Teachers and finally the demon king himself, the deadly sins are those that face the 10 commandments, but now I have to take care of that. The Kugo. That explains all those powers. Lita. But you are partly a demon. Izuku. Yes, now I will have to face all the demons alone. Mineta. But there are no more renegade demons. Izuku. There are some demons who do not pay attention to anyone, they are known as Endura, but these are like animals, they do not have rules or a leader, although they are stronger than some commandments, they are still not an option. Given the information, the vast majority fainted until the teacher, everyone except his girls. Izuku. I understand if they don't want to be with me because I hide this from them or because I'm part demon. And that he is embraced by everyone. Najire. We don't care that you are a demon, we will love you anyway. Izuku burst into tears at that. Eri. After Izuku told everyone about the commandment, so they had to review things apart from Izuku, seeing how the girls accepted Izuku, so he was happy about this, so at this moment, you can see Izuku walking with Mirio looking at things around them until something bumped into Izuku. Izuku. A girl. Izuku lifted the girl, holding her in his arms so that she clung closer to Izuku. Izuku. Don't worry, what's happening? At that moment a voice is heard. Thank you for finding my daughter, Eri come. The girl clung closer to Izuku so he put on a serious face. Izuku. Mirio, you can have this little girl, apparently her name is Eri, take her to the UA. What are you not going to give me my daughter? Izuku. I would only do it if I didn't have all those injuries and if I were really your daughter Overhaul. Overhaul. I see, you know me. Izuku. Yes, and I won't let you have that girl. Izuku went against Overhaul, hitting him in the face, so he tried to touch him, but Izuku hit him again, without letting him have the slightest chance, but he received another blow that sent him crashing against the wall. Izuku. Don't think you have a chance against me. Izuku would give him another hit to attack upwards, causing the building to fall on him, and Izuku left the alley. Izuku. I know that won't kill you, but it will keep you busy. He said it to go to UA where he entered to see Eri surrounded by Class 1A. Izuku. Hey Eri, why don't you tell me what that bad man did to you? Eri would begin to tell him about everything they did to the poor girl, coming to cry, so Izuku's girls began to comfort her in their arms, while Izuku was beyond angry about this, a girl suffered at the hand of a damn villain for what everyone saw as his demonic mark began to appear. Momo. Izuku, calm down, we will take care of Eri together, we will be like mothers, well you can be the father you want. Izuku looked at Eri to kneel. Izuku. What's wrong Eri? Give your father a hug. The girl only went to Izuku to hug him while in his mind he thought about how to fight against the commandments. Overhaul. After Izuku rescued Eri, apart from thinking about the commandments, he was called as the original story to go see the Overhaul issue, so the days passed until the day finally arrived when they would go for Overhaul. To fight once and for all about what they were going through like the original story of entering the house. Izuku. Wait everyone, I feel something. He said it while snapping his fingers, and everyone looked through the wall seeing some people in that maze. Mirio. What are they? Izuku. Apparently the villains were already waiting for us, one can move the walls, they were planning an ambush. Izawa. And what? Izuku. Let's make them believe it's going to be like this. At that point, they ran, already having a new plan, until the villain appeared, trying to move the walls separating them, but when the villains were in front of the heroes, they changed shape. Villain. What? Elsewhere Izuku and Mirio were together. Mirio. That illusion thing was a good idea. Izuku. Thanks, but it looks like we already see Overhaul. He said it while making a perfect cube protecting the two from the bullets of the shooter. Izuku. Mirio, take care of Overhaul, I'll go against the gunman. He said it as Mirio began to leave the place while Izuku locked up the gunman. Izuku. It will be time to play. He said it while he began to show some fire and water, making the villain tremble. After a while, Izuku went to where Mirio was, who was compared to Izawa while they looked at Overhaul, who looked upset. Izuku. Looks like I'll have to get involved. Mirio. It would be very useful. He said it while watching how Overhaul threw some kind of bastards, but before he gave them some cubes they protected them so that they could be separated. Izuku. Now it's my turn. He said it while looking at Overhaul with a smile. Overhaul. You again, maybe you didn't learn anything. He said it by throwing some punctures which did nothing to Izuku, but he extended his hand while a light attack was going to Overhaul, so he tried to dispel the attack, succeeding, but his hands were burned. Izuku. You seriously thought you were going to come out unscathed? He said it while launching another beam that hit him squarely, causing him to fly, crashing into a wall, but before he did anything, a pink beam stayed on his head, making him stay completely still. Izuku. Ready, it's all over. He said it so that everyone would be left with the villains tied up, but some kinds of papers fell from the sky, making everyone look that it was a festival which proposed that the winner would have a wish for whatever he wanted, while saying an address being mountains. Izuku. Izawa, we don't have to let anyone go to this fight festival. Izawa. Why? Izuku. It's a commandment thing and we don't have to let anyone go. Mirio. And what are you planning? Izuku. I'll go face the commandments. Commandments. After they took care of overhaul and saw the things about the festival that the commandments were preparing, so Izuku told the police not to let anyone go, so he prepared to go to the place he was walking. In a forest until he saw a cave. Izuku. I know you're there, come out. That's when 10 beings came out. Zeldris. You're the one who carries the power of sins. Izuku. Yes, I am the same one who will defeat them all. Zeldris. Not if we kill you first. They stared at each other so that Izuku jumped away so that he could see how Galen tried to go against him, so he blocked his attacks so that he could see him and hit him with a blow that sent him flying. Alan. Don't touch him, he's mine. Alan would go on to use the critical ending. Alan. Now you're finished. He would go against Izuku to hit him, but his hand was stopped by Izuku's hand, surprising the commandments, so that Izuku gave him a blow that would send Galen flying to appear above him to hit him with a mallet, leaving him lying on the floor. Izuku. This is a warning, if you dare to do anything I will kill you all. Zeldris. And how do you want us to believe that? At that Izuku began to get bigger while taking out an axe that recognized all the commandments. Monspeet. That power. Izuku. I finished them all. But the axe he cut Galen in two so that he could cast his fire into it, completely destroying their hearts, causing him to fall dead to the floor before everyone's eyes. Izuku. Am I understood? Esterasa. No matter that power, we will win. He went next to the commandments so that Izuku blocked Ariari's blows to then see the troll threw rocks at him that he dodged, followed by hitting Gloxinia that sent him flying, but when Monspeet launched his fire, he thought he did something to him, but he saw how he got out of the fire without any problem. Followed by dodging an attack from Esterasa to give him a cruel sun that sent him crashing into a mountain. Izuku. They'll need more than that. Troll tried to throw some rocks at him, but they did not hit Izuku, who continued as if nothing had happened, so that Frodon tried to pierce his chest, but failed to do significant damage, so that he received a blow from Izuku causing him to fall. Zeldris. You won't be able to beat us all. Izuku. That's why I came at noon. Point 2. Zeldris remembered the power of Escanor at noon. Zeldris. Withdraw. All the commandments except Galen for obvious reasons left, but Izuku was already in his one form, launching a cruel sun which was very large, being half the size of Droll, but when he launched it, it made a huge explosion so that Izuku returned to the ground. Normal. Izuku. Too bad, they ran away, but I'd better come home. He took out his wings to leave while the commandments arrived at a place. Zeldris. Damn, that damn thing killed all of our members. He said it when he saw Frodon's body lying on the floor. Esterasa. We will take revenge. Knowing. After the commandments were separated, apart from Izuku having a rather hectic night with the girls, the next day at the cabin Izuku was waking up because of the sunlight, so he could see the girls who were watching him, making him have a smile. To get up to prepare breakfast, some time later Izuku was in the kitchen, and his eyes were covered by someone. Melascula. Guess who I am? Izuku. Melascula. Melascula. It's not so fair. That's when the other girls arrived. Izuku. Hello. Girls. Hello. Izuku left the breakfast to everyone who just started eating. Izuku. What happened last night? Diane. Wait, you don't remember anything? Izuku. No. Ariari. It's just that when they spend their first nights they can forget what happened. Mirko. That makes a lot of sense. Momo. Anyway, we have to talk about the festival. Izuku. That festival is true. Sai. More importantly, they are not commandments. Everyone looked at them who were calm. Melascula. We have a way to show that you can trust us. Najire. Which one? Ariari. Let us spend a whole day with Izuku and he will tell you if you can trust us. Izuku. Sounds good to me. The girls thought until they came to one thing. Elizabeth. We'll leave you alone if the two of us go too. Izuku. Okay. When they finished breakfast, each one went to their house, in some cases the UA, while Izuku and the 4 girls went to the city, although Izuku gave clothes to Dariari. Melascula. And what will be the first thing we are going to do? Izuku. Let's go in here first. Without the girls realizing it, they entered a fighting stadium in which they looked around the place to take some seats, in addition to watching some female fights in which 2 women finished fighting. Presenter. Well, someone else dares to fight against our champions. Melascula. Dariari is your chance to pass. Ariari. I won't. Izuku. Well, they are stronger anyway. Ariari. How? I'll show you that's not the case. He got up to go to the fight being seen by everyone. Presenter. I'm sorry but you need a partner. Izuku. Here's another one. He said it while he picked up Diane, who was blushing so she could stand next to Derriere. Presenter. Okay, fight. One of the women went against Derriere to hit her, but the demon blocked her as if it were nothing other than dodging her, so that with one blow she left her against the ropes so that she would receive another blow. The other girl was about to attack Derriere from behind. But Diane stood in the way. Diane. What do you think you were going to do? Diane hit the second woman, followed by another blow to the face, leaving her against the ropes of the other part of the ring, followed by kicking her, while Derriere only hit her without using her magic power, but the two women reacted to stop her. Tried to hit the girls, who turned around so that the two of them hit each other at the same time, so that they were on the floor. Derriere and Diane looked at each other to nod, as if they knew what they were going to do to the other, so that they could get up to one side, and with a jump the two will take each other's arms, and enzymes will fall from the two women, leaving them unconscious. Announcer. Great, we have new champions. He said it while raising the two girls' hands to make them leave the place. Izuku. Apparently they can fight together. Diane. This is nothing. Derriere. That's right. Izuku only had a smile for them to go to a part where it was a fair where they spent some time until they went to the UA classrooms, arriving where everyone was. Izuku. Well, that's where my room is. The four girls went to Izuku's room. Momo. And. Izuku. If they are trustworthy, don't make trouble for them. Momo. I hope so, I just don't want them to hurt you. Izuku just showed a smile that everything was going to be okay. Izuku. And the festival. Momo. We met at a song class. Izuku. Sounds great to me, I have some ideas for everything. Izuku alone went to his room, followed by his girlfriends. Festival. After Izuku went with the girls to meet them, they ended up in a kind of fight in which Diane and Derriere fought together and won the fight, as if nothing had happened before the eyes of Melascula, Izuku and Elizabeth, apart from going shopping in which Melascula was trying to provoke Izuku, so that he ended up raping her on the spot. At this moment they were at the UA. Izuku. Hey, what are you doing? He said it looking at a part of the class that was dancing. Ajiro. It's about the festival. Izuku. True. Momo. You have to participate in something too. Izuku only thought what he could do until something occurred to him. Izuku. I know what I can do, but I need help from the girls. He said it looking at the four girls, but then Mirio came in with Eri. Izuku. Hello, Eri. Eri. Hello. Izuku. For now I'll take Eri to see the festival. The girls nodded so they could start walking to prepare for the festival. Izuku. What do you think, Eri? Eri. It's not that surprising. They walked until they bumped into someone. Tesu. Hey, be careful, huh? You're Izuku. Izuku. Hello, Tesu. Tesu. What are you doing? Izuku. I only accompany Eri so I can make her smile at least. Then he saw Eri, who was hiding behind Izuku, who was only smiling. Tesu. What are you planning to do? Izuku. We will have a concert and you will. Monoma. A concert is nothing, we will do the Romeo and Juliet thing, we will crush them. At that point he was hit by Tesu. Tesu. I'm sorry, if Kendo isn't there to control it. Izuku. Do you want me to help you with that? Tesu. How? Izuku only shined his hand so that a seal appeared on Monoma. Izuku. With this he won't be able to continue with his arrogance, if he tries to do something or think he will get an electric shock. Tesu. Thank you very much. Izuku. You're welcome. That way they separated so he could continue on his way watching Najire, who was preparing for the beauty festival. Najire. Izuku. He said it while throwing himself at Izuku, giving him a kiss. Izuku. Hello Najire, you are going to participate in the beauty contest. Najire. Yes, although it will be somewhat difficult to win considering a girl. He said the same thing from the original story while showing the girl. Izuku. I'm sure she won first because then the people who left her in the first place are Reapers. Najire. Why? Eri. It's horrendous. At that Izuku began to laugh. Izuku. That's how you say Eri. Najire. Eri never says that to any woman while you Izuku. I look at him making him shiver. Najire. Eri better not have thoughts like that. Izuku only nodded his head. After that everything happened like the original story until the concert part where everything happened as it was in the original story, but something began to happen, and that was that some people began to be higher up some stone pillars that towards Diane, the ice was destroyed by Derriere. Boy. Everyone look up. Girl. It's beautiful. Everyone saw how Elizabeth used her light which collided with the darkness of Melascula, leaving a beautiful view of the sky, but what surprised everyone was that the two girls left an opening where they saw how Izuku made a perfect cube with his two hands. where he stayed inside it so that it made a cruel sun which was enormous, making everyone have a perfect view of what it would be like to have the sun in front of them. Izuku. It's time to give a little more excitement. He said it while he began to make his darkness make lines in the sun. That is how the festival passed by Class 1A. When they finished they only returned everything to normal so that Class B could continue. Izuku. Tesu is a good actor but Monoma. He said it to see Monoma who was terrible. Izuku. He's terrible at acting. That's how everything happened like the original story. Festival 2. After they finished their part of the part apart from Class B, everyone was walking to see the next part of the festival, being the part of the beauty that Mineta and Kaminari wanted to see, although they were not very aware that Izuku was behind them listening to everything. What they said. Lie. Let's go to the beauty pageant. Kaminari. Yes. Mineta. We will see the girls' breasts and their asses. He fell when he heard someone rattle his bones, looking back as Izuku with a smile that promised pain and a while passed and everyone was going to the beauty part but they were dragging Mineta and Kaminari who were badly injured. Shoji. How do you think the beauty contest will be? Izuku. I don't know, we'll just go and see what happens. When they arrived they saw the girls weighing up to the one who had supposedly won before. For some reason when Izuku saw her he ended up vomiting like some of the class. Izuku. Without a doubt the court is empty. Bajiro. Hope you can choose in a better way. Court. We have some new girls who signed up at the last minute. Everyone looked at who were going to be the next participants, with Elizabeth being the first to come forward. Izuku. Elizabeth. She didn't expect that. The girl showed a kind of angel's wings as she began to fly to start with her light before the eyes of everyone who was surprised by the spectacle they were seeing, since for all of them the girl giving the performance seemed like a true angel. The next girl was Melascula who began to use her darkness surrounding some people who looked at the girl who showed a slightly sadistic smile, making her look like a demon. The next was Diane who began to dance before the eyes of everyone who watched as the girl made some stone pillars apart from some parts, making some stone golems, to her surprise since the golems moved apart. That each golem looked like different people like those from Class 1A, leaving a great spectacle. When they finished everything they gave Elizabeth as the winner of the beauty contest. Izuku. Well, I can't deny that it was incredible, but Derriere, why didn't you want to participate? Derriere. That's something for fools, I don't care. Izuku laughed a little showing a smile, so they went to the part where they were going to say goodbye with Eri passing by like the original story giving him a candy apple. The girls. After the sports festival where the girls showed their parts in beauty, surprising Izuku so that at this moment they were in the quiet dormitories, although a certain boy was not calm, since they used him as a rag doll, since they carried him from one place to another for the girls who were trying to take a piece of it. Tomi. He's mine. Karishi. Don't even believe it, he will be mine. I need a real man. Kiri. Some girls need to fulfill their most perverted fantasies with the man they love. Momo. Don't think you're the only ones who want it. Sayu. I'm not going to be left behind. Najire. Neither do I. The girls were pulling Izuku back and forth. Izuku's mind. Since what happened that night they became more possessive. She looked to the side where the other girls were, who were calmer. Izuku. And because you don't behave like them. Eri. That's because one night after what we did we become more possessive, although we know how to control it, although humans. Momo. I won't let them take it away from me. Sayu. Give me this once and for all. Eri. They will end up removing all the parts of your body in a few words. Izuku. Luckily he's not here. He fell silent when he saw how Mirko entered through the window, who threw himself at the boy's enzyme to start pulling him towards him, to his surprise that this happened. Izuku. Don't you think you can help me a little? Melascula. If I do it we'll have a pretty hot night between the two of us. He said them with a more than perverted face. Izuku. Okay, someone else. Diane. If you have to fix it on your own. Elizabeth. If we try to help then we will end up like them. At one point the green-haired boy disappeared making the girls about to go look for him, but they saw how Harry appeared with some clones of him who hugged the girls beginning to reassure them, knowing that they had their loved one with them. Momo. Wait, I have the original or you're a clone. Izuku. The important thing is that I'm with you. Mirko. In fact you already make us doubt. Karishi. That's true. The girls watched the green-haired man until they did a little damage to him, making them disappear and seeing Izuku with Tomi, so that they all rushed towards him. Izuku. That's it. In another part the commandments were together although they noticed how two members of their group were missing. Zeldris. Where is Melascula and Derriere? Esterasa. It seems they betrayed us. Monspeet. I don't think they'll end up betraying us that way. Zeldris. Well then in that case I'll let Monspeet go see where they are. The commandment left the place until it began to fly. Endeavor. At the UA the students were normal without problems if it were not because at that moment they were going to begin to see one of the most important things being a fight. At this time some were only doing some things without much importance. Ajiro. This is boring. I wish we could present something that is at least a little more fun. Sato. Are you talking about a fight? Ajiro. As long as I can use my quirk. Melascula. I don't know if they're interested, but I know a part where they'll be able to fight in purgatory. Even that, they only saw the girl having doubts. Sato. I think we didn't look to that point. Kiri. Everyone should watch TV, it's important. That's when they saw how he put on the news where he was fighting Endeavor against a high-end Nomu. In combat, the man was only using a large amount of fire to be able to destroy the Nomu, doing everything possible to kill it. Endeavor. This thing is very resistant and I can't find a way to destroy it. At that point he began to hear the laughter of the Nomu who was only recovering from his damage. Nomu. I would like you to prepare Endeavor because I will kill you shortly. By saying that he began to remove a dark matter from his body before the man's gaze, making him only prepare for such a thing. Harishi. It looks like the same dark matter coming out of Izuku's body, it doesn't make sense. Eri. No doubt the demon clan has something to do with it. The Nomu was about to attack him if not because from one moment to the next Izuku made an appearance, cutting it in half only for it to fall to the floor. Endeavor. What the hell? Izuku. Hello father-in-law, it seems that now we will be able to fight together for the first time. Endeavor. What the hell are you doing in this place? Izuku. This thing is partly a demon, so I must take care of this as soon as possible. Endeavor. Don't think I'm going to thank you. Izuku. I wasn't going to ask for them anyway. At that point they saw how he made a cruel sun that he threw at the Nomu, causing it to receive it squarely only for it to burn, followed by it being enclosed in a perfect cube. Endeavor. How the hell can I destroy this thing? Izuku. If it helps, try to use all your flames in a single attack, I'll take care of the rest. Endeavor did not rest until a pink lightning flashed through his head, causing Izuku to understand his plans, which began with the attack on the Nomu, and he was released only to end up cut into pieces by the young man. Nomu. You must understand that you can't handle me, you can't do anything. Izuku. Maybe that's true, but at the end of the day you're going to be destroyed. In that way they began to fight where both the Nomu and Izuku were letting out a great darkness from their bodies, with the young man only standing while cutting the Nomu into pieces, which could not do anything against the young man who remained. Attacking as if it were nothing before the young man who remained calm while the Nomu only began to fall until he could heal again. Nomu. Wretch, I will kill you right now. Before he could do anything he was greeted by a cruel sun, followed by Endeavor's fire on his back, only for him to be enclosed in a perfect cube, where Izuku kept him trapped until he exploded inside with nothing left of it. Endeavor. Looks like it's over. Izuku. I think so, although not completely. He said it as he began to fly only to end up in front of Zeldris, who only stayed with his wings. Zeldris. It seems we can talk better. Izuku. I think so. The two demons only looked at each other. Siblings. Once he was able to help him in the battle against a high-end Nomu, the green-haired young man was now in front of a rather angry Zeldris, although that was his usual face, since he was only serious in the same way as Izuku before the demon. That was in front of me. Zeldris. Miserable, you decide to help humans despite everything, you don't care about anything, you just want to do it, even though you are the reincarnation of my brother, I will kill you anyway. Izuku. You don't need to say it Zeldris, I know that Meliodas was not a good brother, in the same way I can't tell you if I was a good brother, since we never spent time except when I attacked you, but I hope you are reasonable for that reason. Zeldris. I know you want to talk about something very important with me, say it before I destroy you. Izuku. I want you to take away the commandments just like the rest shouldn't have them. Zeldris. What are you talking about? At that he saw how he snapped his fingers, causing the environment to change to a dark one, putting the demon on alert. Izuku. You can relax, we can't fight in this area, it's so that the demon king doesn't see us. Zeldris. What do you plan to do now? Izuku. It's to help you, I know quite well that the commandments are part of the demon king like you, but what you don't know is that same power, if you put the 10 commandments together in a single body, you can make the demon king himself take possession of your body. It means that it is a separate trap, he can listen and see everything that you do through that commandment. Zeldris. I don't understand why I should believe you. Izuku. I have no reason to lie to you, I'm going to tell you something that Gother left me at the end of everything. Zeldris. That wretch sounds like something very important from the looks of it. Izuku. And it is, the Esterosa that you know is a lie. Years ago when meliodas joined the side of the goddesses everything began to be chaos, therefore to restore that balance an opponent who was capable of having meliodas level was needed. But the biggest problem was that there was only one person to do it. Saying that he could only open his eyes at such a thing as he realized things. Zeldris. There is only one person capable of standing up to meliodas before, and that was Male the dead archangel. Izuku. I'm afraid so, that's the same one who ended up being a victim of Gother, turning Male's memories into another, causing him to end up being a demon at the end of the day. Now we just have to be able to make the rest of the commandments understand this. Zeldris. I see, but I don't understand why you want to do something like this, it's dangerous. Izuku. I want to do it because it's the best for everything, especially because I really want to put an end to the Demon King, that way you can rule purgatory, and when that happens Gelda and you are going to be together again. I would like to know what you think about that all if we have an agreement. He said it as he reached out to extend his hand to the demon who was staring at him only to give a sigh, followed by shaking hands, causing them to separate. Zeldris. I hope you're not wrong, you bastard, because if everything turns out wrong, I'll kill you myself. Izuku. Well, my loved ones are in danger, so I have no choice but to accept the facts to save them. Now I need you to attack me like that. When I take this out, the Demon King has confidence in him, but not just one, but he keeps attacking me. I'm going to try to escape. Zeldris. It's going to be a pleasure. He said it while he went on to give a direct attack on his body, causing that place to return to normal, only for him to continue attacking the young man who had no choice but to continue dodging while he began to escape before everyone's eyes. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.